This is the time of year that many of our favorite candle companies decide to give us a sneak peek, and Yankee Candle on December 26th released 5 candles, their spring preview. However, I have 10 fragrances that are scheduled for the 2018 first quarter. I will be separating this video into several segments. Are you ready? Let's do it. The next one I picked up at Candle Power NYC. That was the pop-up storefront hosted by Yankee Candle in New York City. And I almost fell in love with this candle before I even smelled it. Look at this label. Very pretty label. The color of the wax with the flowers and how they both reflect the apricot fruit and the rose. Gorgeous. But what does it smell like? So no question, super ripe white peach, nectarine, and apricot. This is a stone fruit explosion. But there's other fruits in here that are going to add to the complexity of that apricot. Pineapple, strawberry, and you gotta have citrus, and in this case, a lemon. That lemon is really brightening up all of that fruit. But what happens is, with that fruit, it creates this concentrated, fizzy, fruity effect, almost like sparkling wine or Prosecco. Do you see where I'm going with this? Prosecco is an Italian sparkling wine. And what happens when we mix white peach with Prosecco? Suddenly you have that classic wine cocktail, the Bellini. And for me, that was the first thing I thought of when I smelled this candle. You have that chilled glass of frothy peach goodness garnished with the strawberry on the glass. That's refreshing. And there is indeed rose in this candle, but once again, not dominating the fragrance. On the contrary, it takes a back seat. I'm glad they put this garden rose on the label. When fruit and florals are balanced like this, it's almost like 2 parts fruit, 1 part floral. I personally love it. I think it works really well. And what it does in this situation is the florals make the peach more authentic, or the apricot, and that the apricot makes the floral more authentic. I mean, when you smell a peach, it smells kind of floral, right? Like the skins. And some roses, when you smell them, can smell fruity. So they both help each other, they complement each other, and they're balanced perfectly for me in this scenario. Have you ever had flower kiss candy before? I've mentioned it a long time ago. It's a hard candy that's imported from Japan, and the flavors are fruit and floral. And of course, this reminds me of those candies when I had them in my youth. If anyone knows where to get those candies, Flower Kiss, let me know. Super nostalgic. So let me paint a portrait for you here. When I smell this candle and I close my eyes, I'm transported to a warm yet windy day in Venice. I'm sipping on that Bellini cocktail, and I got my arm hanging out a window of a little quaint restaurant, and that wind is pouring in, so maybe there's a flower box with some roses there throwing up those aromatics in my face. Absolutely beautiful. It sets an environment. It gives you a sense of place, this fragrance. And to be honest with you, I smell this and I immediately get thirsty. It's just incredibly refreshing. So if that sounds good to you, I highly recommend you check it out. Sun-Drenched Apricot Rose. So Yankee Candle's description on Sun-Drenched Apricot Rose: a full bloom scent of lush orange, apricot, and soft petals. Perfectly written. I love it. I have no objections to that. The fragrance notes are going to be sun-drenched apricot, nectarine blossom, apricot roses, gardenia petals, sheer musk, and soft powder. I like this candle a lot, but time is of the essence, so let's move on. Candle number 5. This one also looking very delicious and refreshing. Juicy citrus and sea salt. And on the label we have a glass filled with what looks like ice shavings and a wedge of orange. And in the background there we have what looks like to be navel orange, but could be many different varieties. And are those shades in the background there? I can't really tell. Let's see what this one has in store. Whoa. Oh man. It's like a punch in the face. Really increased intensity here. Citrus all of the way in so many different forms. Ruby red grapefruit, lemonade, limoncello, and tangerine. Absolutely. And I gotta get nostalgic on you here for a moment. I have to do it. Ecto Cooler and Tang. That concentrated candy-esque form of citrus. This is also reminding me of Sour Mix. Long Island iced tea, anyone? That pronounced citrus is really selling that margarita concept, if that's what they're going for, minus the tequila, of course. And I have to say, I am picking up on a saltiness. Now, mainly, it's just my mind, my brain playing the association game. It's filling in the gaps. I'm seeing cocktails, I'm smelling citrus, my mind puts in the salt for me, but there is a saltiness here. And there's a touch of fresh mint here too. I love that. And although I've been, I said margarita and I'm talking about alcoholic beverages, there's nothing boozy here. This does not smell like alcohol. But it does have a little bit of the spice that we would find in spiced rum. There's a little bit of that in here that I really like, pushing the envelope of complexity. Those spices that we find in South American rum. I mean, no kidding, just smelling this now puts me in the mood. Even with this landscape of snow behind me, to be by the poolside, sipping on something refreshing. If you want to escape to that kind of environment, or to the summer, to the pool, just like the last candle, you smell this, you're bound to get thirsty. It's that refreshing. Not a whole lot happening, but just those few components really make this a believable, authentic candle. It doesn't smell fake at all. It's like Tropicana orange juice. It's so real, but also like concentrated orange juice, like Orange Julius or Orange Gina, whatever it is. Juicy citrus and sea salt. I'm surprised that this is not a part of Yankee Candle's summer lineup, but it works for the spring. It works for any time of the year. Like I said, if you need that escape. No fragrance notes from Yankee Candle on this one, but we do have a description. Yankee Candle says, orange and grapefruit, wonderfully cool and lush and edged with salt. Yes, I think we'd all agree on that one. That is going to conclude the 5 fragrances for the spring preview that Yankee Candle has already released. You can buy any one of the candles that I spoke about at yankeecandle.com or at your local storefront. The candles that I'm going to talk about next are scheduled for 2018, the first quarter, but they are not released yet. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek. The first one being, you gotta love a name like this, Rainbow Cookie. Now that's something I can really sink my teeth into. Sweet treat candles are one of my favorite things, and so are French macaroons, and that's precisely what we see on this label. Those macaroons have tons of added confections like sprinkles and wafers, maybe even some confetti there. I don't know if it's edible. But here's the thing, rainbow cookies are typically layered sponge cake, also known as Neapolitan cookies or 7-layered cake. So is this a cake? Is this a cookie? Is this a macaroon? What's going on? We're already going into this candle with a few questions. So let's have a sniff. Very surprising nose. I think it's safe to say that many of us would not expect the initial aroma of this candle to be what it is. What's happening is it's dominated by tart, sour candy. Sour Patch Kids, sour gummy worms. Don't let that turn you off, but there's definitely a fruity tooty, fruit candy, fruit punch, tart, citrus, even tropical fruit aroma. And for any of you wondering if this candle is the UK's or the Europeans' macaroon treats, this candle right here, it is not. This is a much different candle. This candle right here is savory, it's salty, it's creamy, it's baked. This is a sweet candle. Delicious, and not to say that this is not, but certainly a much different approach. But we have to look past that fruit. We have to put the fruit to the side, sink deeper into this candle, and once we do that, we will find a vanilla base, a creamier, savory base. Sweet vanilla, savory vanilla, but almost a dairy-rich softness as well, like Greek yogurt. So almost like a fruit yogurt granola frappe. And to complement the creamy dairy and vanilla, there's some sweetness. Marshmallow is coming to mind because there's a confectioner's sugar thing here. Really, when I smell this candle, I don't think baked. Baked is not a word, an adjective that comes to mind. Instead, the effect is a sorbet, a smoothie, like a citrus berry smoothie from Jamba Juice. Yeah, I mean, you have like the vanilla ice cream, the ice, orange, peach, pineapple, berries, all whipped together, and you get that nice, refreshing beverage. And as I spend a little bit more time with my nose in the jar, I am reading a little bit more of that Maillard reaction, like that toasted cookie, that brown golden edge of the cookie. But man, you really have to look for it. So let me read Yankee Candle's description and fragrance notes. It goes a little something like this. Cookies so light and airy, they're ready to melt in your mouth, filled with citrus and peach and sweet frosting. Top notes of sweet orange, creamy peach. Mid notes of passion fruit and buttercream, with base notes of vanilla frosting and coconut. I think a lot of people will love this fragrance, but don't go into it thinking that you're going to be getting this kind of birthday cake, buttercream, Mrs. Claus cookie explosion. This is really more of a refreshing approach to citrus and tropical fruit with a little bit of vanilla and perhaps some Maillard crispy, crunchy, golden around the edges cookie in the background. Rainbow cookie. Let us move on. Let's continue. So we have another beverage, cocktail, poolside themed candle. This one called Peaches and Cream. We see that beverage in that martini glass garnished with that wedge of peach. This candle seems to be a partner of the juicy citrus and sea salt. What does it smell like? Let's find out. Okay, we got stuff to talk about. Nectarine over peach, I would want to say, but stone fruit for sure. The reason why I wouldn't say peach automatically is because usually peach in candles is portrayed as being super, super ripe and exaggerated. That's not a bad thing at all, but almost it smells like peach schnapps at times, where this does smell like nectarine, that less sugar, more tart fruit. And I use this descriptor from time to time. Think about peach pit. We've all sucked on a peach pit before. We know the experience. There's a very specific flavor and aroma to that peach. And if you can't think of it, just think about the innermost part of the fruit right before it touches the pit. That nectarine where it's that blood red color and it's super tart. That is what I'm smelling in this candle, and it's adding so much authenticity. And as crazy as it sounds, I'm not kidding. When I smell this, I swear I feel like I have a peach up to my nose. I can smell the surface of the peach, that fuzzy fruit, because let's face it, the skin is very distinguishable. Peach skin smells a little bit floral. We talked about this already. And I'm not kidding, that is definitely coming through. Some citrus as well, most likely orange, to play off the orange sickle, creamsicle idea. And speaking of orange, maybe, arguably, we could say that is supposed to be triple sec or orange liqueur in this peach martini. And that's just going to add to that cocktail martini experience. And when it comes to the cream, I like this. It's not overly done creamy. This is not Orange Julius. This is not like half and half super heavy cream. This is not even like Greek yogurt. It's a lighter cream, and it's a fresher peach or nectarine than you might expect, at least what I came to expect. What I am smelling is coolness, coldness. Just in the way when you smell cherries on ice, you can smell ice. At least I do when I smell that candle. I smell ice in that candle. I don't know how it's done, what they're doing, what that ingredient is, the magic that's involved in creating that sensation. But I have to say, it's kind of happening here too. I feel like I have my nose up to a glass of shaved ice. That's incredible. That I can't explain. I don't know how they do that. It's certainly nothing minty or menthol providing that sensation. I think that's it. Relatively straightforward. That peach is going to be enhanced by constructing it with other fruit components. We definitely have that icy sensation as well. The cream, again, is not overdone. To me, this would be a really fun candle to have if you're having company over for brunch or lunch, because it's not going to offend anybody. It would be hard to imagine this candle being something where someone's like, put that out, it stinks. It's very soothing, it's refreshing, and it's not overly intense. It's going to give you a smooth linger when you're having some guests over the house. And like I said, won't bother anybody. Peaches and cream. I'll certainly keep you posted when I find out more about these candles that are not yet released. But if you want to get your hands on them now, try Bed Bath & Beyond, try Home Goods, try Marshalls, try Hallmark, try Kohl's, try all of these places that carry Yankee Candle products, but definitely don't go to Yankee Candle expecting to find something like peaches and cream. Remember, as of the date this video is being recorded. Okay, let's put this one away. Next on the list, I can smell it. I can smell it. Of course I can smell it from here. This is insanely powerful.